Welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Mare, and we're breaking down the world of pro wrestling.
From the eyes of a smart fan.
And a casual fan, and everyone in between.
Whether you're a lifelong fan
or just getting into it,
you've got a ringside seat with us. All right, welcome back to the Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling podcast, where every week this summer we're shining the spotlight on wrestlers, personalities, and voices helping shape the future of professional wrestling.
Joining us today is Ace Bradley. Ace has already built an impressive resume capturing championship gold across multiple promotions. He's a one-time WTF World Heavyweight Champion, one-time WTF Insane Division Champion, two-time WTF Tag Team Champion, and a one-time ACW United States Champion. Whether he's competing in WTF Wrestling or All-Star Championship Wrestling, Ace has made a name for himself as someone who's willing to put it all on the line every time he steps in the ring.
Today, we're talking about the incredible journey from backyard wrestling to the independent scene, the lessons learned along the way, the championships, the sacrifices, and where he sees his career heading next.
So settle in because this is another edition of our Indy Summer Spotlight Series, and you won't want to miss this conversation. Let's welcome Ace Bradley to the Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling podcast.
Welcome, Ace.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm being very cool, very devious, trying to beat the heat. It's been a long day today, but we're here.
We're here. So, Ace, first off, thank you so much for joining us today. For our fans that might be discovering you for the very first time, who is Ace Bradley?
The the character or out of character? Because I'm a Gemini. There's two sides.
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say let's go with Ace Bradley, the character.
Well, I mean, it's just honestly, I'm gonna be for real. They're the same person, but the character basically is just the offshoot and just the over exaggeration of my life of an ex thug turned pastor. So, I got tired of street life. One time I got real caught up. I got caught up in something. It caused me to do some time. And once I got out, well, before I got out, I met a guy inside who basically taught me about professional wrestling. And I was like, okay. And he was also the preacher in the jail that I was at. So I feel like through wrestling and restoring my faith in Christ, I can deal a lot of ass whoopings through wrestling. And it's basically an offshoot of my life in real time. So, that's basically it. Just the super fan that grew up loving wrestling and wants to try his hand at it. That's basically all it is. I'm not a second coming of any, well, maybe Danhausen, because I like Danhausen right now. Like, he's like my favorite wrestler right now. But it's just I'm just a kid from Brooklyn that loves wrestling, loves God, and takes both of those and incorporates that into the most funniest piece of wrestling you've ever seen in your life. I keep telling everybody I'm not Will Ospreay. I'm Danhausen. Well, Acehausen in my case. But yes, I can't say very nice, very evil. So I say I'm very cool, very devious.
That's pretty awesome. You could do the spoof off of Danhausen, incorporating your background and your faith and being like, "You are blessed." That would be a tagline. You got something there.
I got all right, get the check ready. Get the check ready. I gotta send you some money. That was a good one right there. That was good. I'll write that one down. That was good.
So, Ace, you talk about being a lifelong wrestling fan. What was the first memory that made you fall in love with pro wrestling?
The very first time I seen wrestling, I was about 6, and I only remember this through family archival footage. My dad showed me a video of The Undertaker and Jake the Snake Roberts, and I instantly fell in love. Then you get a little older when you start to remember things for yourself and you start watching things, and a lot of people my age, because I'm 35, a lot of people will say this, but it's probably gonna sound cliche, but Rock and Stone Cold fighting every single night, whether it was Raw, a pay-per-view. Them guys was like the police department and the fire department. They don't get along. If they see each other, it's on site. But they know they got one common goal: help people. In their case, entertain people. So the Rock and Stone Cold are like forever ingrained in my mind, because if you saw one of them, you knew you was gonna get a good show, at least in my eyes, because they were my favorites.
I mean, Steve's been watching wrestling for, ever, but, we definitely were in the Attitude Era when, Rock and Austin were big, and, they're always gonna be the top guys, I feel like, they're always gonna be the people that, are remembered the most because they had such iconic careers.
Yeah. If they could come back after 15, 20 years after they retired and still get in the ring and still whoop ass, I mean, that pretty much says it within itself.
Yeah, definitely. So, when you did decide to kinda make the leap and become a wrestler, how did your friends and family react? Were they like, "This makes sense," or was it kinda out of left field to them?
Well, when a lot of my family and friends found out that I was gonna take professional wrestling serious, it was kind of mixed. I'm not gonna lie, but it was more good, and I'm not gonna say it was like bad or like hate or doubt, but it was more concerning. Like with like the older members of my family, they're like, "Oh, you're doing that wrestling stuff. Don't they get hurt and all that type of?" And me never breaking. I'm telling them, yeah, just to get them scared, but they come to shows. But like most of my family and friends who like been around me my whole life, they was like, "Yeah, this is not surprising. We just knew you were gonna do it. It was just a matter of when." And so when they seen because they didn't come to my first, like my very, very first match was in front of like 8 people. Well, I started during the COVID era. So my first couple matches were it was only about 8 people in attendance, everybody spaced apart, for social distancing reasons. And yeah, but once the restrictions were lifted, then people started coming out. But it was more so, yeah, we knew bro was gonna do this. It was only a matter of time. It wasn't how, but when. For me, at least, for like my friends and family. Some of them love it. Cause now they get to make fun of me. All my nieces and nephews and my god kids, they always say, "Oh, Uncle always getting beat up," because I'm more on the comedic side of wrestling. So they're like, "Oh, Uncle always getting beat up, but if he need to get out of something, he can always get out of something." And the kids are taking the wrestling the way they take the wrestling. But it's been a lot of I could say it's been a lot of support.
Ace, what's something fans don't realize about how difficult it is to make the jump from fan to actually getting in the ring on any level?
I will say this to anybody who has thoughts or dreams and aspirations of being a professional wrestler, because I had to learn it for myself. When I stepped into a school for the first time, I respect every single wrestler, whether I like them or hate them, because the training process is not easy. I repeat, ladies and gentlemen, it is not. Capital NOT exclamation point 3 times, underline 3 times. Not easy. Is it fun? Yes. Does it hurt? Also, yes. Um, my process for getting in the ring, it was very unconventional, but when I got to a school and did like proper training, it the bumps hurt. Not gonna lie, the bumps hurt. But once you get used to it, if you do something you love, you take all the negatives, leave your mind. There is no negatives if you're doing something you're truly passionate about and you truly love. It does hurt, but it's fun. I tell everybody that all the time. If you truly love it, pain is your friend, not your enemy.
So let's talk Ace Bradley, the character. You have a finishing move that is so awesome and so fun. What is the name of your move and what's it inspired by?
Um, I have a couple I have a couple signature moves. One of the moves that I do is basically a it's basically my version of the people's elbow. I call it the sexy elbow. I don't really have a crazy kooky name for it yet. But because The Rock being one of my influences, I said, let me do something rock based. And I'm not gonna say I'm not strong enough to do the rock bottom, but I wrestle a lot of guys that are bigger than me in stature, so I
Yeah.
can't necessarily rock bottom them, but I can elbow drop. I'm not too small elbow dropping. You ain't too big to get elbow. Okay, these things are very strong. They're very pointy and powerful. So um I was like, I want to do the people's elbow, but I don't want to do the people's elbow. I want to make it my elbow. And that's where the arm pumps and all that comes into play. Um I like to do the figure four, though I could never fully lock it in because people don't want me to put them in the figure four. That's one of my finishers. And then, of course, there's Old Faithful, the good old fashioned stunt.
Yeah, you deliver a mean stunner. You did it like 3 times in a row on this one opponent we were watching you wrestle earlier today,
Shout out
finally.
Pharaoh, man.
Yeah,
He's a that's a tough guy. But I gotta give him praise and I gotta give him credit because I did a lot of like as to where my style is more comedic and he sees it, he was like, look, bro, I know what you could really do because he's seen me in training and he was like, bro, I know what you could really do. Yes, we can do some comedy, but let's turn it up. And you got the match that you guys see for the ACW United Nations Championship. That's what happened. So as to where I'm doing a lot more talking, pointing, little funny antics, that one is more, all right, let me showcase the wrestling side because people think that I can't wrestle, which is okay because everybody's entitled to their opinion. But he was like, yo, let's really showcase the wrestling because you've really been improving ever since, you decided to go pro and really learn, get into school, take it seriously, this thing, that. And, let's really showcase your wrestling. Let's show them what you could really do. So as to where before I was just doing like DDTs and because I gotta, you know, even Jake the Snake Roberts said that my DDT was,
that's
there's
awesome.
that. Yeah, I have met him at a show like years ago and I got to show him and he was like, okay. I mean, he wasn't angry. He was happy, kinda happy, but he did give me tips on how to improve it, and I've been working on it ever since.
That's the stamp of approval right there. So Ace, when I was watching you, one of the first things I told Mare is, this is a comedic style. It's not all about, you know, moves and flips and, headlocks and everything. And what I really loved when I was watching you is it gave me like Norman Smiley vibes where, you'll go to chop somebody, but it'll be like a super soft chop or like a real hard punch. Like I really enjoyed that. So tell us, what makes Ace Bradley different from everybody else on the independent scene?
Um, the fact the best way I could put it, what makes me different is like in life itself, I take wrestling serious, but not too seriously, if that makes sense. Like there are people who enter the business and it's everything for them, which it is for me too, but not in the way that others might perceive it. Like I do take wrestling seriously, but a lot of people are just so ego driven And a lot of people want this and that. A lot of people want perfection and this and that, and mistakes happen. And I just feel like we're so like gung ho on trying to, it has to be this way. It has to be that way. It has to be this way. It has to be that way. Forgetting what we're really doing this for. At the end of the day, the people come to see us, and it's our job to make it as good and as believable as possible. People come to see a show at the end of the day. So if you want to go and you're this epic Herculean character, and you're you're the top dog of the company, that's what you want to do, go be that. I've always been a funny guy my whole life. I don't like to consider myself a comedian, but my friends would say I'm a comedian. I just like I like entertainment in all forms because I also rap, I sing, I produce, I dance. I'm just an all around entertainer. And my goal has always been making people feel good, or in this case, making people feel good or laugh through wrestling. And if I'm able to do that, whether winning or losing, then I feel like I've done my job. And I feel like a lot of people, because of the state that wrestling is in, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's predetermined. It's this, it's that, it's this, it's that." So I'm like, Okay, I'm gonna make it funny. If you can make it digestible for the non-wrestling fan, somebody who's never seen wrestling a day in their life, how would you introduce it? Would you introduce it as a Olympic level sport, or would you unleash it to people as a seriously funny stage play? I've done theater most of my life. So of course, me being me, I want stage play. We can give them 300, or we can give them Pee Wee's Playhouse. I choose Pee Wee's Playhouse.
It's awesome because you're making it relatable to people. Anybody can relate to comedy. There's like, unless they're a seriously miserable person, everybody loves to laugh. And so I think approaching it that way is smart because you may catch somebody that's like, oh, I've never had an interest in wrestling, but I do like comedy. And certainly, your gimmick, your character, and your style in the ring is so entertaining to watch. It's so much fun. I think my favorite match of all the matches that we watched was the insane division championship match where you're
Oh
like,
my
"Oh my God, did I win?" And then the guy came in because it isn't the 24-hour championship title like shot because he
um
came in and he swiped it from you, but you were for like 5 seconds, you were like sheer joy.
so at that time, because as of now, the Insane Championship is not 24/7 anymore. They destroyed that rule. But when they first unveiled the belt, it was. So in that match, um I'm not gonna lie, I was mad at my brother for whatever reason. So in that match, I said, I'm going to seriously kick your ass in a funny way. And first we had to get rid of the old guy. Shout out Billy. I love him, but he had to go. He got to get rid of that belt. It just wasn't for him. I love him, but it wasn't for him. So when it came to me and my brother, I said, "Man, I brought you into this business, but if you think you're gonna win this belt, you got something coming to you." After I win, I'm finally like, yes, I got a belt. I'm gonna get a lengthy title run because I'm tired of this transitional stuff. I mean, I know I'm a comedic wrestler, but I'm better than everybody else there. And it hurts my feelings, guys. It hurts my feelings. And then they send that collector dude with his little voodoo dust, and 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 he threw it in my face, and it made me sick.
So
I think so.
you've captured multiple titles. You've been the WTF World Champion, Insane Division Champion, a two-time WTF Tag Team Champion, and an ACW United Nations Champion. What does that mean to you, in your career for these companies to have faith in you to, represent them and be a champion?
It means a lot because As to where like a lot of my a couple of wrestle peers that I know would like classify me as just the comedy guy, or he's just a good hand, or he's just a jobber. I want people to see that you can fall in love with the business, learn the business properly, be who or whatever you want to be. And if you practice your craft and perfect your craft the right way and just be reliable, be coachable, be understanding, be willing and able to do whatever is needed from the company of you, you can get anything that you want to in this world. Oh, and of course, my favorite thing to do is show the other wrestlers that think you can't do it that you can do it. And I'm not gonna say it's not hard, because a lot of these, politics come into play and things of that nature, but you have to stick with your guns, stay true to yourself, and just stick it out. I didn't think that I would become a world champion. And even though my run was short, I didn't even know I was winning it until honestly in the middle of the match. And he was like, "Yeah, kid, it's your time." I was like, "Wow, okay." So when it happened, I'm not gonna lie, I went mad with power. The devil side was about to kick in, and then my family snapped me out of it. And I never really thought about it like that, because I didn't think I would win any titles. It didn't matter which one it was. I just love the art of wrestling, and I love the art of entertaining people. That is my win. If we could walk around with a people's championship, I think I'd walk around I'd walk around with that belt, with that title for the rest of my life. Because like I said, if the people enjoying it, and if the people are having fun, if the people are able to catch on to it, that to me is greater than any belt I will ever win for as long as I wrestle. There are so many people that I meet at these matches, and sometimes, I get to talk with the people beforehand at some of my shows, and, I get to, basically introduce them to wrestling. I might go get put in a move or two just to warm the crowd up and things of that nature at certain places if I'm allowed to. And that also gains me more favor with the fans. So, when it's time to put the show on, it's time to cheer. They're ace, 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 ace. If you've watched some of the matches, I'm probably the most, if not the most popular wrestler on the roster currently. So the titles is cool, but it's more so of the fan reaction, which is probably why I'll never go heel, because I don't want people to boo me. Or maybe I do, just not right now.
Maybe later in your career, maybe it'll be a different vibe, a funny heel vibe.
It's scary.
I mean, they always
Scary a
say
little bit.
that bad heat is still heat, so, but I mean, right now you are a crowd favorite. You're the clear baby face, in WTF. The audience there loves you, and you can definitely hear that and see that. And yeah, I think what you're doing there is awesome. Um, so who has been your favorite opponent so far in your years of wrestling?
I'm gonna put Vaughn Snipes on that list because he's my brother, and I got him into the biz, and he's learning. I wish he would snap into it like how I had to snap into it, but I'll put him there. The guy that I beat for the belt, Angelo Vega, I beat him for the World Heavyweight Championship. He is probably the safest guy I've ever worked with. He doesn't wrestle anymore. He's retired now, but Um, he's probably one of the most safest people I've ever worked with. He's also been really good. We had a really good program. Um, I'm gonna put Hollywood DeVille, aka Coop. I'm gonna put him up there because he's the one that pushed me and saw something in me past the training, past the comedy, and was willing to take a chance on me. And I feel like that is like my 5-star match right there, other than my Botchamania in the beginning. I'm gonna put my mentor Happy the Clown up there because he was one of the first guys when I was at ECPW gym with Gino Caruso. He was one of the guys that saw something in me and taught me the tricks and tips and how to wrestle, how to get face pops, how to get heel heat, how to bump, how to take the pain and make it your friend, how to make the people love you, how to make the people hate me. He really gave me the psychology for wrestling in its entirety. So I would put those 3, 4 guys up there. They're up there my favorites. Very cool, very devious. You know what I'm saying? Little this, little that.
Little Ace Hausen. You got a little Ace
There you
Hausen.
go.
So wrestling isn't just what happens in the ring. It's the travel, the training, the late nights, the sacrifices you have to make. Has there ever been a point in your journey where you questioned whether it was all worth it or not?
See, that is a good question, and it's actually one of the biggest reasons why I do wrestling. I was at a place in my life where I was just ready to give up on everything. I had a very bad situation with the mothers of my children, and it was to a point where in real life I almost lost everything, including myself. So my journey in wrestling isn't just to entertain people and become the best wrestler in the world. It has it has restored certain relationships between certain family members and I. It has made the bond stronger between my children and I. I couldn't get my kids, even in a playful manner, to do anything wrestling related with me. Now all they want to do is choke me out. Daddy, show me a move. Show me a headlock. Show me an elbow drop. Show me my second son, his favorite thing to do is climb. He's like a real life monkey. All he does is climb. And then my oldest, he half my size. All he want to do is put me in chicken wings and cross faces and all this type of stuff. And I think it's so cool that, something that my family used to bash when I was a kid has become the same thing that has somewhat restored the relationships that I've had with my family, and I've built new ones with newer people. So will I give it up? Honestly, hell no. Did this thing make me want to quit? Hell no, because I've seen what it can do, and I've taken every piece of pain that has been dealt through wrestling as a lesson and not as a punishment. It's been it's in my own little sick little joker kind of way. It's allowed me to heal old wounds, and it's allowed me to have a better understanding of myself and what I need to do. Maybe me getting into wrestling was God's way of whooping my ass. God can transcend through people and give you lessons. And if you aren't willing to learn, it's gonna be a very hard lesson because you're gonna get the lesson regardless. So I've looked at it as me me having to humble myself and being humbled and then really getting into it and allowing this gift because I love it so much, just allowing the gift to flow through me and to show people that you can do anything. I know it sounds cliche, but you can do anything that you want and you could really make it something. My cousin inspired me, and it's cool to see that my kids are so influenced by this. I have some of my friends that come and been to my shows ask me, "Yo, man, how can I get into it?" Just like how it did for me with my cousin, it's doing for random people, my cousins, my other cousins, my brother, my sister, my everybody, people in the neighborhood. I get it's not superstar status, but I get stopped every so often and they say, "Oh, you're the guy with the dog mask, or you're the guy with the psycho clown mask, or you're the WTF guy to be doing the warm-ups at the shows." Like it's very good to see that. And I don't think for as long as I'm wrestling, Imma let anything slow me down.
What's your ultimate goal? Like your dream of all dreams with wrestling? It sounds like, inspiring people, making them laugh is definitely a huge part of that, but where do you hope this takes you?
I wanna show everybody that a black kid from Brooklyn can get to a major wrestling promotion. It don't matter if it's WWE, it don't matter if it's New Japan, it don't matter if it's AEW. I will take anyone as long as the money is right because I have 5 sons and a whole list of nieces, nephews, and godkids to take care of, and Ace loves the kids. So, lots of human monies in my Danhausen voice, and just to show people how far you can take a gift if you really lock in. I would love to before I'm 50, Tony Khan, Triple H, New Japan owner, can't remember his name, TNA, whoever owns it now, because I know it's not Scott D'Amore or Tommy Dreamer, none of those guys anymore. Any wrestling promotion before I turn 50, that is when I want to stop. Um, I just want to show the world that if you take something that you love, no matter if it's wrestling or any other sport, but we're gonna keep it wrestling in this case. Um, no matter if you want to be the next Will Ospreay or the next Shawn Michaels, the next Undertaker, the next Danhausen, me, um, the next or the first whoever. Once you lock in, once you seriously know that this is what you want to do with yourself and your career, and you truly lock in, you can take this as far as you want to go. The only thing stopping you is yourself. Once you get out of your own way, and you put them wings on your back and you allow yourself to fly, you can go anywhere in this galaxy. I'm not even gonna say the world, the state, the country. There's probably wrestlers on alien countries. I'm trying to go there too. How far do I want to go? I want to go all the way where the black holes are and not lose my life because you know black holes turn you into spaghetti. And I got him! I
Right?
got him! I got a smirk! I got a smirk! Yes! Look, I got him! I got him!
Then it does take a pretty funny person to get Steve to crack a big smile, so good job.
Bang! I
So
did it!
Ace,
Yes,
is
sir.
is was there ever a moment that, made you feel like, "Wow, I belong here. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my calling," you know?
Yes. It was, it's funny I bring my kids up. They were so much younger then, and I'm actually looking for booking, so anybody who wanna book your boy, alexbrady24@gmail.com, or I am Ace Bradley on all social medias. I am not a hard person to find. Um I do bring a crowd. I bring my own merch. I bring my own money. I'm very professional, and I'm also very cool, very devious. I have to put that in there. What made me feel like I belong is probably oh, you are so good with these questions. I got to wrestle in front of my children. It was after COVID restrictions were lifted, and we had a show at the gym that I was training at the time, the ECPW gym in Jersey. Shout out Gino. Um, we did because with WTF they air for TV, but we were doing taping, so a lot of the episodes were airing on tape delay. But I got to wrestle in front of my kids. We had about probably 4 matches that day, and it was so like a day like today. It was very hot. But my mentor Happy, my tag team partner, and my nephew RJ Montana and myself, we probably bought the most people. But there were people from like other schools there. There was some guys from the other school further up the block that came and they watched. A couple of my mentors, people who trained me were watching, and they got to see my improvement. And I was really starting to find myself. I wasn't doing anything comedy based as of yet. I wasn't doing anything comedic. I was still trying to find myself as a wrestler. So I was literally your creative wrestler. I was default. If you've ever played Warzone or Raw Zone or any of the old school games or anything like that, I was default. I was bland, There was no character. There was no nothing. It was just, hi, I'm Ace Bradley. I'm here to wrestle. How you doing? That's it.
Yeah.
But I had one match with another one of my mentors, Sean Jenkins, and a match with a wrestler named Sinner. And people like the Sinner match. And my kids is like, yeah, daddy's winning, daddy's winning, daddy's winning. I only won one match out of those 4 matches. But people saw how I could take the losses, keep on kicking. And a lot of my mentors were like, yeah, kid, you're getting it. You're really, really starting to get it. And one of the coaches, like Gino himself, if anybody knows who Gino Caruso is, to me, he's very high profile. Like that's a legend right there. If you don't know, look him up. When he started seeing some of my training and was like, all right, kid, I see what you can do with this. If you take this more seriously and you come and you get some reps in, I see where you can go. You might even get on a couple of my shows one day. And that right there, boom, that was my seal. I gotta keep going. My kids to this day, even though I had time apart, for my own personal thing, and I had time apart when I started reconnecting with my children, and my son brings up that match, and I'm like, you were 5, 6 years old, barely remember that stuff. He's 9 now. And the fact that he can still piece together these things, and my family can still talk about these things. I say, yeah, this is what I got to do. This is going to be one of, if not the thing that ultimately brings my family together, keeps me happy, gets my children back, and makes me the best dad in the world. That's my goal. That was the moment right there, wrestling in front of my children. I don't think it gets no greater than that. That's bigger than, to me, that was my WrestleMania. Wrestling in front of my family and my children.
Got kids, we
Now I'm gonna cry.
understand. When you make your kids proud, I think that makes it so impactful,
Not
and
gonna
I
make me
mean,
cry.
oh.
Not gonna cry, but I feel like
Very cool, very devious, and also can cry.
very, very cool, very devious, very emotional.
That's okay.
That's what
Great,
wrestling's all about, emotion.
exactly. Let's get into some fun questions here. Babe, you wanna kick it off? I feel like I talk a lot.
Yeah. So Ace, who was your favorite wrestler growing up as a lifelong fan?
Um, do I have to pick one?
No,
Top
you can
3.
even you can even do a top 3.
Um, if I'm gonna do three, uh, it's gonna be Jake the Snake Roberts, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not in this order though, but Jake the Snake, Stone Cold, and The Rock. Because I always wanted to whoop ass like Stone Cold, but I didn't want to yell. So I got a lot of my like promo work when I want to get serious from Jake. But my whole personality, The Rock. That's me in a nutshell. He's my favorite wrestler. I had a Rock themed birthday party when I turned 9. I had everything except The Rock himself. I had a Rock cake. My room was dressed up like The Rock. I had a 500, well, it was a $50 shirt. I ain't gonna say $500 shirt like he did, but I had a $50 dress down shirt. I had the glasses. I had the haircut because I'm bald now. My hair it don't grow no more.
You still
I
got the
had the
haircut. He's bald too.
yeah, I had that. I had that. We had a cake. We had pinata. I had The Rock's greatest matches on VHS. No, I'm showing my age. A lot of you kids don't know what a VHS tape is, but for us old people,
I still have
we
a
had
box
to.
in my attic full of
That's right.
VHS tapes.
So I was literally obsessed with The Rock. So much so when I was going to school as a kid that all the girls called me Rocky. They didn't call me Alex. They called me Rocky. All the girls called me Rocky. That was my nickname the first probably 12 years of my life. I was obsessed. Oh, and Razor Ramon. Gotta put Scott Hall up there because he was the one that gave me that confidence thing where I could walk and talk because I'm very shy. I'm very shy. But when the lights are on and I'm ready to go, all that stuff goes out the window. But when the lights are off, I'm very introverted. I'm very inside, very to myself.
What's your favorite finishing move of all time? Any wrestler, any era, what's your favorite finisher?
Swanton bomb Jeff Hardy because I want to learn how to do it.
Incredible to see. That would be so
Ooh,
awesome. When I was watching WTF, like, that area is so small and the ceiling is so low, and so, like, you definitely would have to be in a venue where you could get some air on that because
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I do like splash. I like sometimes I'll do like splashes. One time I tried to do a second rope. I tried to do a second rope senton, but I ultimately decided against it. But I'm gonna go and practice it some more because I really want to do at least one flippy move, just to show people that I can do one move, whether it's a swanton, a 450, which I'm terrified of. Um, I wanna do at least I wanna do even a moonsault. I wanna do at least one flip move. I wanna give them that. But like a lot of the flip moves are my favorites, the 450s, the swantons, frog splash, figure four, but you gotta put it in like how Ric Flair did it. Cause when Ric Flair did it, Ric Flair made it look like he was gonna break your leg off of your body. It only has to be the way that Ric Flair does it. And of course, Old Faithful, Rock Bottom and Stone Cold Stunner. But my all-time favorite is the Swanton Bomb. I'm sorry, that's number one. Every kid did the Jeff Hardy. Every kid did the two fingers. I have a scar in the back of my head from jumping off the top bunk of my bed trying to do the Swanton on my sister. So I know. Do not try this at home was very real and we did not listen. Me and my sister have the same scar in the same spot in the back of our head.
On bombs,
If
dangerous.
if that's not crazy, I don't know what it is. I remember meeting Jeff and telling him that, and he was like, "Wow, okay, wow, wow." It was all we could say. But I just think it's so cool, and it's just the way that he did it. I just like the Hardy Boys in general. They made it cool to be punk. That was just my thing. So the Swanton was just the icing on the cake because who doesn't want to fly?
I feel
I
like
do.
if Ace Bradley, the wrestler, was gonna do a swanton, the best way to do it is you would have to get out of the ring, get back in, and do it from the first rope instead of the second or third rope. That would match your character so much better.
Yeah. I gotta write that down. That's good. Oh my god. Y'all sure y'all not wrestling managers or something like that? Your minds are wonderful. I'm taking all of this down. I will make sure to put royalties to the side and y'all get proper credit and proper payment because that is wonderful. I'm definitely gonna use it. I think I'm not, but I will. Don't be
Do it.
surprised the
Love it.
next taping. Don't be surprised the next taping you see it and I'm be like, hey, I'm gonna look in the camera and be like, Mr. and Mrs. This is for you.
Love it.
Can't wait.
So as a performer, you mentioned, you're a musician, you produce music. If you could pick any song from any performer in history, no copyright infringement, what would you pick as your entrance music?
You said no copyright infringement?
No copyright. There's no rules. You can pick any song.
You're the man. I love you. Um, if I could choose any song, I'm not gonna lie, it would be there's it's a tie for three songs. Either Bat Dance by Prince, Return of the Mac, Mark Morrison, or
Right.
or Party Man Prince, because obviously I'm a Prince fan. but it would be either Party Man or Bat Dance by Prince or Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison because that's like my favorite song of all time. Or if we're going into my player character, Night and Day by I'll Be Sure.
Which wrestler has your favorite entrance music? Any wrestler, any era, which entrance music is your favorite? Top three, if you have a top three.
Okay, top three entrances. My favorite, my favorite old school guy is Jake the Snake. My favorite Attitude Era, I'm gonna put Triple H. My favorite new guy, Obafemi.
Yes. For-
Ruler.
That is the he's the best thing. He's the best thing smoking since chimneys first knew how to smoke. He is he's such a hot. He is so hot like his aura is infinite. Like that like and you know because he's so young and he's so new, he's so fresh. Like there's few wrestlers like when you know they come out, you know. You know, like everybody can have a cool entrance and yay and yeet and all that other stuff. But when you hear ooh, and then the war drums start to beat, you already know somebody's getting it. You know, when The Rock came out, you knew he's about to get it. Stone Cold music played, he's about to get it. Mark Henry music played when he was Hall of Fame Mark Henry, not Sexual Chocolate. Somebody was going to get it. When Undertaker came out, you better start praising God and turning to Jesus right now. If Kane music played, you run for the hills, turn your life to God right now. There's very few wrestlers that have that impact. Like right now, and then it's so simple. He doesn't have to have crazy fireworks or crazy song and dance. That man come out there, he struts, he poses. That's it. It doesn't get no better than that right now. And he like it's so simple but so powerful. Like it's like um how can I put it? Obafemi and his theme, his music, his entrance, he's like the wrestling Gangnam style. He's like the wrestling Gangnam style. Everybody is doing the Oba strut.
Everybody. We have a 5-year-old daughter, and anytime his music hits, she's like, "Oh, but" every time.
Uh, it's magnetic. It's magnetic, and I love it. I love it for him. I'm just mad that he threw away his championship opportunity to fight Brock Lesnar, though. But you know,
Me too. We're very mad about that.
Yeah, in our most
We're-
recent episode, I already did a long rant about it, how it's poor booking, doesn't make sense. You're basically telling people our TV and our storylines don't matter. We're gonna do whatever and watch our shows every week, and the results don't matter. You can lose every week, and we'll still give you a title shot if we want. So
you hit
one of
on the nail. You hit it right on the nail. Oh my Jesus. See, now I gotta go watch the episode.
Absolutely, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you can find us. One of my final questions for you, Ace. Let's use our crystal ball here. In 5 years, what would success look like for Ace Bradley?
I'd have $1 million contract with any company that is willing to book me. I would have been a champion at said company. I will be the number one merch seller at said company. I will sit atop my own throne as the king of comedic wrestling. That is what I want people to see, hear, and understand. You do not have to be the strongest dude in the room to be the most powerful dude in the room. Even the CEO once started as a janitor. So if the janitor can do it, then anybody can do it. The court jester will become king, and there's nothing or no one except Christ himself, and he doesn't want that to stop me because he is the one that endowed me with this gift. 5 years is looking a lot like next year if I fully lock in, which I am going to, because I want to show the world that comedic wrestling is the greatest wrestling in the world. It's better than everything. It's better than the Greco-Roman. It's better than the high flying. It's better than the lucha libre. It's better than the submission. It's better than the everybody. Everybody wants to laugh and everybody wants to see whoop ass. I have both. Smash them together like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Get you a nice glass of Kool-Aid and enjoy the show because it's going to be a very fun.
You already hit us with your socials, but let's hear it again. Where can our listeners find you online?
Facebook. Facebook is my government name. That's Alexander Marsalis Brady or Ace Bradley. It'll come up. Instagram, Twitter, X, or whatever they call it now. Um, every other social media is Ace Bradley or Ace Bradley 91, which is the year I was born. But I am Ace Bradley or Ace Bradley 91 on all social medias. If it's not the mask or the good looking face you see before you, it is probably a doppelganger. My brothers do look like me, but we don't look that much alike. So, uh, there's that. Um, and yeah, I'm all over the place. I'm not a hard person to find. I'm not really a social media person, but if you hit me back, I will write you. I do follow, I do support. We can talk, we can laugh. I'm just a regular person. I don't want nobody to think I'm this Hollywood, this. I don't talk to people. I'm just a regular person living an extraordinary life. That's the only difference. I'm living the life the way I want to live it, and that's it. And I'm doing that through wrestling and Amazon and being a dad and on a constant quest for world domination. That too, we got to put that in the contract.
And that's going to wrap up another edition of our Indy Summer Spotlight interview series.
A huge thank you to Ace Bradley for joining us and sharing his incredible journey from backyard wrestling with a dream to becoming a champion on the independent scene. Stories like this are exactly why we love doing this series, because every wrestler has a unique path, and Ace's passion for professional wrestling shines through every step of his journey.
Be sure to support Ace by checking him out at WTF Wrestling and All Star Championship Wrestling, and keep an eye on his social media to see where he'll be competing next. Independent wrestling thrives because of the fans. So if Ace is appearing at a show near you, grab a ticket and experience the dog live.
If you enjoyed this interview, help us grow the podcast by following us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to leave a rating and review. It really helps us bring more incredible guests to the show.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X for exclusive clips, behind the scenes content, and announcements about upcoming interviews for our Indie Summer Spotlight Series.
Until next time, for Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting the independent wrestling. And remember, support your local promotions, support independent talent, and we'll see you next time right here on the Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling podcast.
This episode of Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling is powered by W Energy. Listen up, brother. You know, in the squared circle, it's all about having the energy to go the distance. No sugar crashes, no jitters, just clean, focused fuel to keep you going through every promo, every match, and every late night wrestling binge. That's where W Energy comes in, the ultimate tag team partner for your brain and body, packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and a knockout flavor lineup. W is here to make sure you never gas out before the final bell. No fake stuff, no gimmicks, just pure power. So whether you're cutting promos or cutting down on fatigue, grab a tub of W and unleash your inner champ. Head on over to w.gg and use promo code Mr. and Mrs. to get 10% off your first order. That's w.gg/Mr. and Mrs. Fuel up, throw down, and leave your competition down for the 3 count.